Ladies and gentlemen, you are now listening to the #1 sports podcast, broadcasting Sundays at 9 a.m.-ish in Sacramento, California. Sports Talk 916. Now here are your hosts, Greg Bowl and Coach Greg Barrosi.
Hey, what's happening? It's Sunday in a little bit different situation this time around. I'm laid up with my leg. My cool shark kind of took a bite out of the bottom of my leg, so I'm taking it a little easy. So we decided to try one of our new toys, and hopefully it's working. Yeah, right. So I'm sitting at home, and he is at the palatial studios of Sports Talk 916. And so welcome. What?
Kill your volume on your other.
I just did.
Okay.
Episode 259 of Sports Talk 916. I'm Coach Greg. That's Mr. Chief, Greg Bowl. And it's another Sunday.
It sure is. What is up?
Like I said, the shark was cool, but it took a little bite out of my leg, so I'm laid up. Not to be expected. Does that make sense? So I'm frozen up on. That's weird.
You're good on our end.
On Facebook, yeah, but on Facebook it looks like it's all frozen up. So anyway, I'm kind of laid up, sitting around. Our El Camino girls made the section playoffs. We're the 8th seed out of 8 teams, and we're playing the top seeded team who actually over the last 5 games have won like average of 25-2. So we get to go to Sonora, and hopefully we can figure something out and maybe come back with the win. But it's all experience. So I'm really happy for the girls and their families and the other coaches. It's been a fun year.
That's awesome. Congratulations to
thanks.
them, and hopefully everything goes well. Just a reminder to you folks that are on early with us, we definitely want you guys to share and get our information out there. If you have sports fans, we want them to know that are on early with us.
Oh, wait, hold on. Stop. Time out.
Share. Damn it.
There we go.
All right. Anyways, share it on Facebook. Let all your friends know. We want to get as many viewers and participating folks as possible. It always makes the fun a little bit better. Makes the show a little bit more funner, more fun.
More funner?
The most fun. All right, well, let's talk sports. So
let's do it.
The big one right now, obviously, is World Series. I predicted that we would have a 5-game series. You said 6. TJ said 6. Everyone else was predicting 6 or 7. Today, my prediction can come true. We could have a 5-game World Series. The Red Sox and Dodgers play later on this afternoon, Game 5. Sox are up 3-1. Where'd you go?
Uh-oh. I don't know what happened.
Cover yourself up somehow.
I did.
All right. Up 3-1. Game 1 and 2 in Boston went as many people as expected. Kershaw looked good at the beginning, and then October Kershaw showed up. And then Game 2, Boston came out and didn't score a lot of runs, and they found a way to win. Game 3, which was
sorry guys.
Game 3 was insane. Game 3, not only the longest game in World Series history, both for duration of innings and time on the clock, was one of the most statistically packed baseball games I've ever seen in my life. And whether you're a Dodgers fan, a Red Sox fan, a Giants fan, rooting for the Dodgers or rooting for Boston, or any explanation of how you enjoy baseball, if that game did not have you on the edge of your seat and fully satisfied by the end of it, regardless of how it ended, then you don't like baseball. You're lying.
I just wish it wouldn't have been so late. I made it through 14 innings, and I had to wait until the next day to see exactly what was going on. So
let me ask you this, though. Even making it through 14 innings, and even though
great game.
Even though the Red Sox couldn't pull it out, which obviously that's what we're rooting for as Giants fans, were you at all disappointed in that game, even to the slightest?
Not at all. No, I thought it was a great game. It was a pitching matchup. I mean, you can't say it was a pitcher's duel because Boston used about 50 pitchers.
Oh, I have that. I'll let you know how many they use here in a moment.
It wasn't
days, not 18 innings, by the way.
What's that?
TJ says that game was 18 days, not 18 innings.
Yeah, right. So in that sense, it was exciting in that any swing could have ended it. Any swing could have, made a huge difference. So every pitch was important. It kind of goes back to that argument of, do you need to have lots of offense or good pitching to keep the fans interested? And if it was the game, what was it, game 5 last year, where it went back and forth and ended up like 13-11 or something like that.
Oh yeah, that game was crazy.
Yeah, crazy in a different way, because it was just the reaction that you had in watching that game was, oh wow, there's another home run. Oh, there's another home run. Now now Houston's ahead. Now LA's ahead. This game was pitch after pitch after pitch was vitally important, and those are the two extremes. But that's the fun of baseball that a lot of people don't understand, that a one-run game or a tie game going 18 innings can be just as exciting or more exciting than a 14-13 game.
Right. And I watched all 18 innings. I stayed up right up until Turner hit the home run to win it all. Oscar just posted he stayed up for all 18 innings as well. As a Dodger fan, I'm sure he was super happy to go to bed with that. James says should have ended in the 13th when the umps missed the check swing, strike 3 on Bellinger. Yeah, that was a really bad check swing call. But in a way,
I think the umpiring has been pretty bad in this series.
The umpiring has been pretty bad.
It's been bad.
And just like I said, it was just like I'm not even upset that I'm not even upset that the Dodgers ended up winning that game, just because of how great that game turned out. And
it gets you your prediction of 5 games too.
And it gets me my prediction of 5 games. But, umpiring has been bad. I'm sorry, Muncy. Yeah, not Turner. Muncy hit the home run. Mike Muncy's a beast. That dude at first base, I enjoy watching that dude play baseball. It was just good, but it also shed some light on the fact that Dodger fans, and I think Giants fans and A's fans, they're all very similar. But for some reason it seems to stand out a little bit. A little bit more with Dodger fans is there are 2 types of Dodger. There's 3 types of Dodgers fans.
Okay.
There are the nobody in blue can do anything wrong.
Okay.
A perfect example of that is one of our followers and listeners, Alvin. He's always commenting on everything, and we'll get to him in a minute because he was the first person on our poll that we did about Manny Machado to defend Machado. No one can do anything wrong if they're a Dodger. Doesn't matter what they do. They could go out and murder somebody, and he'll find a way to justify it. Then there's the Oscars, who is Dodger blue to the heart. He'll never stop being loyal to his team, but he's real about it. All season long we talked to Oscar, and we always asked him, what are you worried about? And he's always honest. I'm worried about our bullpen. I'm worried about this. I'm worried about that. I'm still going to root for my team, but this worries me. Like, there are faults in his Dodgers, right? There's the realistic Dodger fan, which is like Oscar. And then there are just the nasty Dodger fans that are just like assholes, and they're so oblivious to the world around them that nothing makes sense to them. I saw so many posts on Facebook the night of that game when and what's funny is 3 of the posts came from the same group of sisters that are all Dodger fans, right? When I'm drawing a blank on the catcher's name who was back there, was it who was catching for the Dodgers late in that game? TJ or Oscar, you'll know. Anyways, there was the wild pitch that Nunez was up. Nunez tried to get out of the way. The catcher upended him, and Nunez came down and landed on the bum ankle. Then he had to run around and loosen it up or whatever. Then he dives into first base. Jacks up his ankle a little bit more again. He had to raise his hand, right? Yeah. He had to run up and down the line. And then that great play that Nunez made falling into the stands to make that second out when he came over on the shift. The salty asshole Dodger fan comes out when they're like, oh, this is what's wrong with baseball. This dude's a bitch. Why is he acting so much? This guy needs to be taken out of the game for ruining the flow of the game. Why is he faking it? Like, just ripping into Nunez over and over and over again about how he's a problem and how he's a bitch and he needs to, saying that they were calling him dirty in the sense that he was delaying the game and breaking the momentum of the Dodgers pitchers by pretending to be hurt over and over and over again. And it's like, really? Like, that's how we're going to go about this? Nunez, first of all, Nunez has enough, bruises in this series alone to last a season. Right. Let alone, to be we've seen him in the Giants organization. This dude doesn't fake an injury. This dude, he'll go out. I saw him on a messed up hamstring try to beat out, a ball to first base. Like, that's just how he is. He plays with so much heart and tenacity, unlike a shortstop on the Dodgers side who admitted he doesn't play hard. So Oscar, since you are still on, I just want to, you just put hashtag respect. Give you respect for being a real Dodgers fan and not showing, the true, colors of some idiots that are out there. But all in all, that game 3 was phenomenal. As a baseball fan, I'd have some stats from that game. 561 pitches, 118 at-bats, 18 pitchers were used, 46 players in total. It went 18 innings. There was 34 strikeouts, 7 hours and 20 minutes. And when they were in the 5th inning, they made a note that they had already gone through 12 dozen baseballs.
So I think. Whoa! How come I can hear myself?
I don't know.
Did something come back on?
No, you're fine. Everything sounds good.
Everything is. I'm getting a echo.
But anyways, they went through
Okay. Anyway, so it's like the 14th inning. They said that they had gone through 32 dozen baseballs. 32
dozen. Maybe that's what it was. It was something stupid.
32 dozen.
Exuberant number of baseballs, which is unbelievable. But, like I said, a lot of fun. And then last night's game, you're watching it and you're like, oh, 4th inning, it's another slow one. This is going to, has the potential of going, the Dodgers' way, obviously. And then they go up 4-0 and you're like, oh boy, here we go. And then James says echoing. I don't hear an echo, so
it did for a second, and then it went away.
And then all of a sudden, there's something that's been kind of a trend in this series is the other each team doesn't like to score until the other team scores. Like, they're like, oh, we're not just gonna pile on early. Like the Red Sox are like, oh, we're gonna let the Dodgers are gonna score, and then we'll score a couple. And then we'll add on, and then we'll score a couple more, and then they'll add on. Maybe they're saying that maybe I'm echoing. So it's interesting to see. Oh, you good? TJ says. It's interesting. And then in the 8th inning, the Red Sox just going, oh, you know what? Let's just score 9. Let's just see what happens. And then Kimbrel comes in, and it's like, here we go. It's like, I almost feel bad for Dodger fans in a way that they're having their roller coaster in this series is much more intense than the Red Sox.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Right now, it's like highs and lows of emotions, like beyond belief. And we experienced this with the Giants, not in the World Series, because whenever the Giants made the World, except for the KC series, whenever the Giants made the World Series, it was for some reason it kind of just went like smooth sailing.
And it was like it was almost, you knew it. There wasn't any drama. And even in the Kansas City series, it's like, yeah, okay, we got this. Something's going to happen. And I think when you have somebody like Bumgarner coming out of the bullpen, got a pretty good idea.
Yeah, and then I think back to 2000 and the 2012 playoffs leading up to the World Series. Like that roller coaster was insane.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
It's like, okay, we're on the brink of elimination. Oh God, we got it again. And then, oh wait, Pence hasn't thrown sunflowers. Oh, there he is. Okay, we're good. Like it was just like this whole big old thing, and then it all bounced back. So
all right, hold on. This is hilarious. So I typed in crazy facts from Game 3.
Yeah.
To put it in perspective, to put the time of the game in perspective, to play Game 3, the entire 1939 World Series finished in less time, wrapping up in a tidy 7 hours and 5 minutes.
The whole series,
all 4 games. The Yankees swept the Reds in that one. None of the four games lasted longer than 2 hours and 4 minutes.
That's awesome.
Let me see. I was trying to find out how many balls he used, but I'll keep looking.
A crap load. We'll just leave it at that. A metric shit ton is probably the correct terminology. But I put a poll question last night on Facebook, and I've never ever seen such a lopsided poll. And Oscar, we're gonna get to your comment on it because I absolutely agree with you on this. But I posted a poll last night, if I can find it. I asked, after stepping on another first baseman, we have to ask, is Machado as dirty as he seems? And he's cleated, I believe, 3 first basemen now. He has, it's just been a really nasty postseason for Manny Machado. And 47 votes, 42 yeses and 5 nos. Now, Alvin, Oscar, and 3 other obviously Dodger fans have come in and said no. But Oscar made a really good point, and I'll get to it in a second. But what is your take on Machado and his dirtiness? A lot of them are like, why is this even a poll question? It's obvious. This is a given. He's the dirtiest. He's one of the dirtiest players, if not the dirtiest player in the game. He threw a bad dunk.
I've thought that for years. I've thought that for years.
That's been his reputation even in his Baltimore days. He's a dirty player.
Right. And I go back and I can't remember the game. I think it was a Giants game, interleague game in Baltimore, and there was a flare-up involving him, and I don't remember what it was. I don't know if he got hit or if he just did something stupid, but that's been 5-6 years ago.
Right.
And obviously that wasn't the only time. And the first one, or the last time he spiked the first baseman, you look at it and, the first baseman's foot kind of might have been a little bit over the bag, a little bit too much.
Right.
Left it on there a little bit. You look at last night's and you look at the up close picture of it. He moved his foot to hit the first baseman.
Yeah.
He was coming into the bag, and his foot takes a hard left turn and hits his ankle. So he meant to do that one, and that's just crap.
And then to further his reputation, he doesn't run out of ball, in a ground ball against Milwaukee, and he comes out after the game and says, "Well, that's just not how I am. I don't hustle. I'm not a hustler. I'm not going to put myself on the line." I want to say it was in that game 3 where he hits a ball left field, stands there and basically watches it, thinking it's going to be a home run, hits off the wall, he gets a single out of it.
Right.
Like, it's just his reputation is bad. But Oscar made a really good point, and I thought it'd be important for me to mention this because while I posted this question in the back of my mind, I thought exactly what Oscar said. And his comment on it was, He says, if Machado was a midget, you would be justifying his actions. Just saying. And I thought exactly this. While he does have a reputation of being a dirty player, and Josh Zimmerman just said he's a piece of shit. If the Giants were to go out and sign Manny Machado based on baseball talent and ability alone, I wouldn't necessarily be mad at it. I don't think I would defend it because I don't want to see people, playing dirty. But I would still support him as a Giant. I just wouldn't like it as much as I would say like a Nolan Arenado or someone else that's at shortstop, or Brandon Crawford, obviously. And I also wouldn't be one of those people, like if rumors started swirling that the Giants were looking at going after Manny Machado, I'm not going to jump on the bandwagon of we need to sign this guy. That'd be kind of one of those things where it's like, if it happens, cool, but I'm not going to hold my breath over it. So Oscar, you're absolutely right on that. If he was a Giant, it might be a little bit of a different story, but I surely wouldn't defend it. I would more or less just kind of take it at face value, I guess you would say. Maybe not defend the guy, but also not, I'm not going out and buying his jersey and going like all, rah that he's a Giant for sure.
So let me ask you this. If you had a choice between Machado or Yasiel Puig, because they're both out there and they're both, they can stir up criticism. Which one would you rather have?
Am I doing this based on a term of the Giants need one of them and you have to sign one, or just based on baseball player status alone?
You need to sign one of them. They need one or the other. And, and you have to take the whole player into account, his talent and his actions.
If I have to pick one of those players, I take Yasiel Puig over Manny Machado. The Giants need, like I said, if I'm going based on,
let's go in a vacuum that you need. So Crawford's blown out his shoulder. He can't play anymore.
Or third base open.
They have a third base that's wide open and nobody playing it. And then obviously they need outfielders. And so you either sign a dirty Machado, or you sign, I don't know, a wild card. Who knows what? A Puig. Who do you take?
I still think I take Puig. I secretly like the way Puig plays.
I do too.
I think that his mentality, if we're going in a vacuum, now knowing especially that Machado's come out and said, I'm not going to be a hustles type player. I'm not going to do this. I'm not going to do that. Puig almost has the exact opposite issue, right? Machado is, I'm not going to hustle. I'm not going to do this. I'm not going to do that. Puig is the opposite. He's like, I hustle too much and I put myself at risk because I fly into the walls and I do this and do that. I would much rather have that on my team.
But then he showboats too, and he'll have the basket catch. He'll have the kissing his biceps as he runs the bases. That was hilarious.
I love it. And the bat, all of that I love.
Right.
Oscar asked a great question. We'll let you answer this one first, Greg. If Barry Bonds played for the Dodgers, would you have been okay with his bulking up?
Oh, hell no. Hell no.
The only way I say yes to that, I would have to preface the question with, was Bonds a Giant first? Like, did he play for the Giants and have some of the success he had and then went to the Dodgers? Because I was a fan of Barry Bonds from the jump. When he was when I was younger, I saw him in Pittsburgh for a very little bit that I can remember, and I loved the hell out of how he played. And then we got lucky he came to the Giants. And if he would have left, I don't think, regardless of where he went, that would have been one of those players where it's like, oh, he's a Dodger now, fuck him. Like, I still would have been a Barry Bonds fan.
And I have to say that during that whole time, and even now, I followed McGuire, I followed Sosa. I had no problem with anything they were doing. So, I think I probably would have been a Bonds fan. And
I don't think I would have been as okay with it. I probably wouldn't have gone the route of he's still innocent, like we joke about now, knowing that he definitely wasn't innocent. But I also think that I'm not as big of a baseball fan as I am now. And it's not even about Bonds. It's the Sosa, the McGuire, the Palmeiros. Like, those guys brought life back into baseball.
Oh, absolutely.
Bonds just took it to another level at the end of that era. And I still remember the strike year and how much I hated baseball after these guys took a strike. And
what were you? Were you like 10 years old?
I was
94.
8. I was
94.
8. And I still remember that vividly about how much it sucked not having baseball around. And when Bonds and Sosa, like, when they literally started breaking into, other games and other newscasts. I mean, it didn't matter what you were watching. All of a sudden, you're like, oh, breaking news, McGuire's up to bat. And you're like, I'm watching PSI, like, or Judge Judy's on. Why am I Sosa? Like, that brought life back into baseball.
Oh, absolutely.
So I enjoyed it,
baseball was dead. And baseball, I was obviously a little older. Quite a bit older. And the thought was, and I was a big baseball fan, I have been, and there was a strike in, I want to say 81, 80, somewhere in there, that it took off probably about a third of the season. And they actually had a split season where they took the first half winner, they made the playoffs, and then after the strike, they had a second half winner, and then they had playoffs that way. And luckily, that kind of brought everybody back. This one was a lot worse because it canceled the World Series. And the only other thing that canceled the World Series was World War I. And so they had to do something. And, I think that those two guys, Sosa and McGuire coming back and doing anything, Major League Baseball wasn't going to do anything to step in their way because they saved it. If they don't come back,
it's next, Oscar.
Baseball is nothing. So,
without a doubt.
Yeah. So anyway, and then Bonds, like you said, took it to nth degree. So
last thing on baseball. And Oscar, since you're still on, before we get to King's Talk, how worried are you that in Game 5 tonight, the final game, the Dodgers have to face Chris Sale, so a big lefty, which is going to require Roberts, who you mentioned is the Red Sox MVP right now, to make a tough decision. Do you sit some of your best bats because they're righties or they're lefties, and you don't pitch them or play them against the left-handed pitcher like you did in Game 1 and Game 2 against Price and Sale, and hope that your other players can produce? How worried are you about that? Or do you think that he comes out and just says, we need our best players out there and we're going to see what happens? How worried are you about that? And how worried are you that it's not Kershaw tonight? They're rolling out, if from what I've seen, they're rolling out Ryu.
They are.
They have not had any production in the last 2 seasons out of Ryu as their starting pitcher, and you're rolling him out there in the deciding Game 5. Now, you got to believe that Kershaw is going to be warmed up the second the game starts. Kershaw is going to be in the bullpen, or he's going to be in the dugout or in the clubhouse throwing. Like, he's going to be ready to go regardless. But how worried are you that Ryu can't sustain a couple of innings of solid baseball where they're not going to be in the hole?
Hey, let me correct you. David Price is starting tonight.
They're starting Price?
Yep.
Oh, they were saying Sale last night. Either way, it's a big lefty.
So they're starting. I heard this morning, and I just confirmed it. I was looking on ESPN. So they're starting Sale, or they're starting Price, and that gives Sale 2 more days. That gives Sale 2 more days of rest.
If they have to go to Game 6 in Boston. Gotcha.
Yeah.
And James says, he sits the top 4 home run hitters when lefties start, and that's insane to me. Like, you got to let those guys out there. Play the best players. Ryu pitches better at home. You better hope that he shows up because ESPN has Kershaw as the starter. Interesting, because that'll be on short rest as well. Robert better pull something out of his hat because he needs something. So let's do this real quick. Before we move on to King's Talk, we got to pay some bills. We're going to do some commercials, and then we're going to go ahead and jump into Kings Talk. Hey guys, I'm excited to announce a new partnership with Antonio Pacheco from Folsom Lake Ford. Tony has been my go-to sales guy for a number of years, and he's come on board to bring awesome sales buying experience to each and every one of you. All of his information is on our website at sportstalk916.com, but if you're in a hurry and you're looking for a new car, give him a call today. Antonio Pacheco, area code 530-218-7069. He will answer all of your questions in regards to car buying experience. He is the main guy that I trust in the Sacramento area for all of your car buying needs. Again, Antonio Pacheco, Folsom Lake Ford, 530-218-7069. And also, I want to remind you guys that Albert Chavez, the Mortgage King, is Greg and I's go-to lender for home buying and for home sales or refinance or anything else that you need. I'm going to be tapping him on the shoulder again. As you guys know, my dad has fallen into some health issues. He can no longer live on his own. We're looking into purchasing another home. That's going to move him in with us. We're going to be calling Greg. We're going to be calling Albert. We're going to be getting that ball rolling again. So if you guys have any questions or want updates on our process and how smooth it's going to go and things like that with Albert and Greg, definitely keep your ears locked here. But if you have questions about buying a house, refinancing a house, or anything like that, definitely give Albert a call. He is the self-promoted Mortgage King. Give him a call, 916-230-1537. He'll take care of you, and just tell him that Sports Talk 916 sent you. Oscar said Red Sox are the best team in Major League Baseball 2018, for sure.
Absolutely.
Without a doubt. So let's talk about the NBA. Couple hot starts. What?
Who is the happiest person in the NBA right now?
Tyrone Lue. Lue fired this morning by the winless Cleveland Cavaliers. He was seriously just a mouthpiece. He had no control over that team while LeBron was there. You can tell that team had no respect for him as a coach. And he's singing his praises as he's packing up his office.
Oh, yeah.
I guarantee it.
And to think that Cleveland had any thought. I mean, there's been talk out there. Who was it? Somebody said that they're still a playoff team. One of the players, I think, came out and said that.
Thompson said they're still the team that have to go through the East. Still have to go through Cleveland. Yeah,
everybody has to go through Cleveland twice a year, but that doesn't mean the championship has to go through there.
Exactly. Yeah, everyone's going to go through there eventually. Even Sacramento's going to go through Cleveland once.
Right.
But right now, they started 0-6 and they're terrible. So there is thanks, James. There are a lot of hot teams in the NBA that started right now. You have Milwaukee 6-0. I don't think anyone is necessarily shocked by that, but when you have the Greek Freak in his supporting cast, they're definitely a good team to watch. Toronto, a lot of people were concerned about Toronto starting off 6-0 or starting off hot with, adding Kawhi Leonard, and I still need to get his laugh as one of our sound bites. That laugh is so terrible.
I know.
They're 6-0. They're Rosa, you're sounding.
I know. Sorry. I still need to get his laugh as one of our. Somehow I screwed that up.
That laugh is so terrible. Surprising teams in the East: Boston's 4-2, Philly's 3-3. In the West, Golden State 5-1, Denver 4-1, New Orleans 4-1. But I think the biggest, they're 6-0. They're
all right. It's
I need a damn it, Verosa soundbite.
It's off.
The surprising team to a lot of people in the West right now,
he's an idiot.
Right, would be your Sacramento Kings, 3-3. They've won 2 in a row. Oscar Zepeda has fired up the playoff train. If we were to start the playoffs today after 6 games, Sacramento Kings would be the 8th seed.
No way,
and
really?
Out of the playoffs in the first round against the Golden State Warriors. Sacramento, they're playing great team ball. They're playing fast. They beat Washington the other night, and Scotty Brooks came out, coach of the Wizards, and said that the Kings are not only one of the funnest teams to watch and one of the hardest teams to play against because of their youth and their speed, but they're playing great basketball together, and they're going to be a team to keep an eye on. And, I don't think that that's overstated. I mean, the Kings are playing great. Bielitsa is proving to be probably one of Vlade Divac's best signings ever as a general manager. A lot of people trashed that idea of him being signed to the deal he was signed to and him starting. And you covered it last week. Kings fans, their coverage of Facebook posts have been ridiculous and
predictable and exactly
unpredictable, but Bielitsa has been fantastic. Bagley is looking good. Giles, unfortunately, is not. De'Aaron Fox is coming into his own, and the Kings starting 3-3. I know it's kind of silly that we're they're half game out. Being that we're talking about a 3-3 start with the Kings, it's kind of silly how Willie Cauley-Stein wants to get paid. He's actually playing good. I mean, I hope Willie controls this the rest of the season, but the Kings are exciting to watch right now. And it's gonna be fun to see how they sustain this. And then once Bogey comes back, hopefully it helps out a little bit more as well. Buddy Hield's playing good. There's a lot of hope.
There's a lot of positives going on right now.
Yeah, and Jaeger's actually having good rotation, which is weird because we've never talked about Jaeger having positive rotations in his tenure. But what concerns me the most is NBA attendance through the first couple of games. And the Kings have had 3 home games now. And where do you think they rank as far as what's up, Albert? You just missed your commercial. Where do you think the Kings rank as far as attendance goes in the NBA? 30 teams.
I'm guessing 28th.
You're not far off. 29th. The Kings are averaging 15,294 at Golden One Center.
And what does it hold? It holds 17.5. What's that?
18.5.
Oh, okay.
So they're not selling out. The stadium has looked empty. I mean, they're selling tickets, but I don't think 15,000 fans are showing up to games.
No.
And it's kind of concerning. Like, what is going on here? Why are Kings fans not showing up?
Do you think it's
87% of capacity is filled at Golden One Center?
That's what I'd like to see for the whole league. Is where do we rank in percentage of capacity?
At the bottom.
Are we really?
Yeah, 29th.
In percentage of capacity?
Yeah. The only team lower than the Sacramento Kings right now as capacity is the Minnesota Timberwolves at 80%.
Oh, really? Wow. I would have thought maybe Miami was in there, but because they never have anybody there, or Atlanta.
Miami is currently 5th.
Really?
100%.
No way.
Miami is averaging 19,600 a game, which is 100% of their capacity. Now they've only had 2 games. They had 3 home games, and they've drawn 58,800 people. The 76ers are number 1 at 90. Well, they're at 99%, but they've averaged 60,000 people already, or already have 60,000 people averaging 20,000.
I'm blown away. I really am. I'm blown away. Where's Atlanta?
The Atlanta Hawks are 28th. They're 1 ahead of Sacramento. Actually, they have a lower percentage than Sacramento does.
Okay.
I take that back. The Kings are not the lowest. The Timberwolves have 80%. The Hawks 86.1%. The Hornets 86.8%. And the Kings are right behind the Hornets at 86.8%. They're 87.4%.
Okay. They're still down there.
The Warriors are 6th in attendance. They're still selling out every game. But yeah, the 76ers and Bulls, oddly enough, the Bulls are at 2nd with capacity with only 2 games. They're averaging 20,000 a game.
Wow. So TJ just posted something. He said he thinks it's a lack of parity. When you have a league that has a champion that's all but predetermined and all the good players on the selected teams, that's going to drive fans away. The true fans, the big fans of the NBA, probably. But Sacramento has existed on that fringe fan that goes out because not because they're into the NBA, because they like the Kings and it's an event. And I think that it's just, I think part of it is just the carryover from how bad this organization has been and such a losing history that those fringe fans are going, yeah, they're just going to lose. I'm not going to go.
Right. Matt B. Davis, I had him on 3 weeks ago from Optical Racing Media. He was on trying to help us out last night with our test broadcast.
Oh, okay.
He was making a comment that I looked like the new mascot last night, and he didn't remember which one it was. I'm going to try to show this, but he compares me to the new mascot. I'm not going to say that that's inaccurate. And I will say that the Flyers' new mascot, especially for hockey, is the perfect mascot. If you want to have a violent game and you want to have an adult experience, you roll a mascot out like that that's going to keep kids away. So bravo to Philly there. One more thing in the NBA, the Rockets offering 2 injured players. I don't know who they were. I haven't really looked into it much because that's not really the importance of their offer for Jimmy Butler. But 4 first-round picks to Minnesota for Jimmy Butler. Since the NBA doesn't allow consecutive years of draft picks to be traded in the first round, they've stretched that offer out over 7 years, which is the maximum that you can stretch out a trade. And they're going to get first-round picks for 7 years or every other year for 7 years from Houston if they were to accept it. You got to imagine the last 3 or 4 years of that, Houston's going to be at the bottom of the league because they're going to lose everybody.
Absolutely.
And Minnesota, no, they're going to hold out and see if they get a better offer from Houston. Like, how do you not accept 4 first-round picks for a guy that doesn't want to be there? Can Thibodeau be that far off his rocker that he can't figure that out?
I would have taken that in a second.
Hey, Rosa, scoot over to your left a little, or scoot. There you go. Get yourself in the. You have people that care. I don't know.
Who?
But crazy that they haven't taken that. And then James says, "What do you care? You married a complete smoke show." That's true. I'll look like a mascot. I don't care. Clearly, she likes fuzzy things.
Yeah. I don't know how the NBA lets a trade like that go through. I know that.
I mean, the NBA may vote against it if it's accepted.
Yeah, it's completely. I mean, if there's a definition of mortgaging the future for a couple of years of success, that's it. I mean, the Rockets. I agree with you. The Rockets maybe have 4 years to go.
I don't think they have that much. I think they have 2 to 3 tops.
Well, even so, I mean, so then for 4 out of that following 6 years or 5 years, 3 out of the 5 years,
unless some of those picks are lottery protected at the end, I mean, you're looking at a top 5 pick, easy.
They'd have to be lottery protected. There's no way. Yeah.
TJ says, I think they want more. They want Chris included. They want Eric. James says, no, Chris sucks. They want Eric Gordon included. They're gonna. I think they want Chris Paul included, and I don't see Houston leveraging their leader. I wouldn't be surprised if they try to throw like Melo's 1-year deal or something in there, and realize that they made a mistake of trading Carmelo Anthony or signing Carmelo Anthony and trying to get something.
I wonder if he still has a no trade clause in there.
I don't think so. I have a feeling that Houston was like, you're not getting any leverage. We're giving you way too much money to join here. CP3 breaking down, Harden out with a hammy. Yeah, there's a lot of things that fall into why they're willing to give up so much. They're in a win now. They have to be. Aside from now Denver and Golden State, I mean, Houston still is a top 4 team in the league in the West, even with the injuries they have now. Like, just based on what, I mean, they lost Bamute and they lost what's his name that went to Ariza that went to Phoenix, but they still have the talent. I mean, with Mike D'Antoni, they don't play defense. All they got to do is score points. So when they're healthy, they can still run with the top of the West. But
is Ryan Anderson still there?
Ryan Anderson's gone as well. I don't remember where he went, but they have to do something. I just don't know that throwing. But then again, throwing your future away. But then again, the one thing that Houston's general manager is known for is stupid shit, and this would fall right in his wheelhouse.
Did you see the story last week that David Stern called him an idiot?
D'Antoni or the general manager?
No, I did not. Morey. So remember when they tried to they tried to trade Chris Paul to the Rockets, and then they end up or to Lakers. I don't remember the backstory.
Is this when he was with the Pelicans or with the Hornets?
Yeah. When he was with the Hornets,
tried to trade Chris Paul to the Lakers, and the NBA stepped in and said no.
Right, and so that's because at that point the NBA owned the Pelicans,
the Hornets,
or the Hornets, and they became the Pelicans. They owned them, and all the trades, everything had to go through NBA league approval. And Stern came out last week and said that he called Morey an idiot, and he had no idea what he's doing. And then he turns around and is offering 4 first rounders for, a good player, but I'm not sure he's a 4 first round.
No, not
player.
At all.
No.
I mean, Butler's good, but I mean, they would have to have a gentleman's agreement to have him re-sign there if you're going to give up 4 first-round draft picks for him.
I mean, is there, other than LeBron and Steph and
Durant,
is there anybody else worth that much? Are those guys even worth
that
much?
I would give up 4 first-round picks and a stake in ownership if I could get the Greek Freak for an extended contract.
Okay.
That would be.
What about those other guys? Any of those other guys that you would do it for?
Steph, maybe. LeBron, sure. But I mean, LeBron, I don't know. Dell Demps is who he thinks Stern called an idiot, not.
No.
The Suns and Rockets traded Sacramento kids. They traded Chris and Ryan Anderson, flip-flopped them. Fun fact about David Stern, too. There's also a report that with him, someone did an interview with him or whatever, and they were in his little studio or his library or whatever, and he has framed on his wall a Sacramento Bee comic strip of him saving the Sacramento Kings. So his love affair for Sacramento continues. Let's do... I still don't know where all of our shit is on this. Shoot this.
Apparently, David Stern's called a lot of people idiots.
Right, apparently. NFL. So, Le'Veon Bell still hasn't reported to Pittsburgh. His time is week 11 is when he has to report. There was a lot of reports that he was going to show up by week 8 in their bye week. He didn't. Juju Smith-Schuster is quickly climbing my list of favorite people in the NFL. He bought a crap load of Powerball tickets, the big jackpot. And he said his plan was if he won, he was going to entice Le'Veon Bell to come back to the Steelers by giving him some of the money. Clearly that didn't work. He did not win that. The NFL, I mean, we're getting to the halfway point, right? The trade deadline is Tuesday. Lots of talks. The Raiders, since our last show, traded Amari Cooper. Somehow, Mega Millions, not Powerball, sorry. Somehow got a first-round pick out of Dallas. So Cooper should make his NFL or his Dallas debut next week. They're on a bye this week. So we won't get to see Cooper with his new team. We will, however, see his old team take on the Colts today at the Coliseum. Derek Carr, you got to believe that Jordy Nelson is now the number 1 receiving option in Oakland. Do you think that there's any chance of of Oakland rebounding, or do you think that Derek Carr, let me rephrase this. If Derek Carr does not have a Derek Carr MVP style game where the Raiders feel that he should be at, do you take John Gruden's word at all that says he's not on the trade block to any value at all, or do you think they start taking phone calls for Derek Carr if he doesn't perform this week?
I don't think you can take Gruden's word on anything right now.
Sure.
They're going to get rid of him. I mean, it's just a matter of time. Whether it's at the end of the year, whether it's by Tuesday, I don't see it happening. I don't see it happening Tuesday.
Josh Zimmerman says Jacksonville's first for Derek Carr. Do you think you could see Jacksonville throwing a first? Especially so
Absolutely.
Jacksonville just lost today in London. They lost to the Eagles.
They're a dumpster fire too.
They benched Bortles for Chad Henne last week. No, not Henne.
Did you hear what happened? Did you hear what happened last night?
Yeah, the players got arrested.
Yeah.
For not paying a bill at a club.
So apparently they got in a fight. There was a bar fight, and they were trying to leave without paying the bill, so they got arrested.
Crazy. Yeah, Jordy Nelson and TJ's still there. I could see Jacksonville throwing something at Oakland, and Cody Kessler is the name, not Chad Henne. I don't know why I went back to 1997 or 2007, whenever the hell he played. But I could see Jacksonville making a phone call and just saying, hey, you know what? We'll throw a first-round pick. You guys love first-round picks. Why not have 5 next year? And then they start negotiating a long-term deal with Derek Carr to be the quarterback in Jacksonville for the future. I mean, they have the money. They're not going to pay Bortles again. I believe Bortles is, if I'm not mistaken, no, they just extended Blake Bortles, didn't they, last offseason?
Yeah, they did.
So maybe they rent him and they see what happens, and maybe if anyone has the money to pay 2 quarterbacks a shit ton of money, it's Khan in Jacksonville. I mean, he just offered $70 billion to buy Wembley that he backed out of. Maybe he wants to save that money for Carr.
Can they trade Bortles? Can you trade them straight up and add a couple of first rounder in there?
Why would you want Blake Bortles if you're Oakland? If you're going to give up Derek Carr,
you're tanking,
right? But you're not going to take. But the reason why you're ready to get rid of Derek Carr is because you don't want to pay him an exuberant contract next season. That's why they're going to get rid of him. You're not going to.
I think that
Bortles, who's already on a contract.
But I think Bortles' contract is front loaded, and so if it's only a year or two, you take the cut. I mean, they have plenty of room in the salary cap. You take him for the rest of the year. That gives you at least that gives the look that at least you're trying to do something when you bring in a quarterback that has some experience. You can't, and you cut him next year, and the hit isn't as hard on the salary cap as it would be with Carr.
Yeah, it would be. It would be.
Is it? I thought it was front loaded.
This year he's on a $5 million base with a $10 million cap hit with 26.5 in dead cap. Next season he gets $16 million base with a $5 million signing bonus. His cap hit's $21 million. And then in 2020 it's a $23 million cap hit. This dude they paid him fat.
Oh, okay. I thought for some reason it was front loaded and
no, they paid him a lot of money going forward. Remember, it was at the end of last season. It was right after that playoff run. They threw a shitload of money at him to make him the quarterback of the future. Carr is older than Bortles, so maybe I don't know. John Gruden thinks he knows everything about everybody, anyways, when it comes to quarterbacks. So maybe he sees something else in Bortles. But
and if they end up getting a first round draft pick, and all of a sudden now they have five first round draft picks.
They already have 4.
If they do that, then it's like, okay, I can kind of see what Gruden's doing, and there's no doubt that they're tanking. There's absolutely no doubt that they're tanking. There's no doubt that he's
according to John Gruden.
Well, whatever.
They want to win out.
Actions speak louder than words, and he's all about tanking. If he can tank, and then all of a sudden now he's got 5 first-round draft picks, that shores up a lot of things. It shores up your defensive line. It shores up your linebackers. It gets you a defensive back.
Potentially shores up a lot of things because you have to assume. You just went quiet, Rosa.
Can you hear me?
Well, yeah. Okay. I'll stop you though because it potentially shores up a lot of things. You have to assume that they draft properly with those 5 picks.
True. I agree with that. But I mean, those potential picks are probably better than the crap that they have on the team now, or at least the potential is there. I mean, the potential of the players they have on this team now is shit. I mean, they're a horrible team, and they're not going to get any better. So you got to start somewhere. I have a feeling the closet's going to get cleaned out as soon as they move to Vegas. They'll get rid of everybody that they possibly can.
Derek Carr is a year older than Blake Bortles, by the way. Chat box.
James says they have 5 in the next 2 years already.
Well, they have 4 next year. They have 2 of Chicago's. They have their own, and they have Dallas's now.
Yeah, and if they can get Jacksonville's, and those are all going to be high picks, except for Chicago's. Those are all going to be pretty high picks. So, maybe his method isn't all that bad.
Careful. You're giving Gruden credit right now. You got to careful.
I am giving him credit because maybe he is, maybe he's saying the company line. He's saying what they need to say to keep butts in the seats. He's not doing it. I mean, he's not. You don't see the actions aren't saying, "Hey, we want a lot of people in the seats." The actions are saying, "We're targeting 2021 as the year that we shoot for the Super Bowl."
Right. Once we're in Vegas.
Yeah.
It's one of those things, man, where it's like, yeah, Chicago is different here. Yeah, but they have 4 this year already, though. I believe it was. Yeah, Chicago's this year, their own Dallas. So they have 3 this year. Maybe they have 4. Either way, I mean, they're loaded with draft picks. They're going to have to figure something out. You're going to have to give they're going to have to figure something out with them. But it's going to be crazy. Game of the week. Do you agree it's going to be the Green Bay Packers and the Los Angeles Rams? Undefeated Rams hosting the Packers?
That's going to be a great game. It's going to be a shootout. Rodgers doesn't want to lose to a younger ex-Cal quarterback, and he has a hatred for Cal anyway. So that's going to be a shootout. The only thing is both teams are kind of banged up right now. Cooper Kupp is out. Who knows?
Is Kupp out for sure, or is he doubtful?
He's out. He's not playing today.
I need to pick out a fucking wide receiver. It says it's doubtful. They tried to get Jordy Nelson. Someone else got Jordy Nelson on our waiver wire this week.
So and who knows what's going on with Green Bay's running backs? Who are they going to play? I don't think so. Ty Montgomery, but they don't play him. So who knows what's going to happen? But I have a feeling that it's going to be a fun game to watch. Balls are going to be flying all over the place.
Giggity. Let's see here. I got to drop somebody real quick here. Let's drop this guy.
Have you heard about the sports weekend in LA that they're talking about? So
I keep hearing them talk about the sports, whatever they're calling it, but Sports City USA. Yeah, I've never heard that Rodgers hates Cal either. I don't know where you're pulling that from.
Oh, he does. He was the first one that on introductions, he introduces himself as Butte Community College and not Cal. He will not recognize Cal. He had a falling out. Now I don't know if it's because of the way they treated the coaching staff when they got rid of everybody, or if it was the coaching staff treated him. There's something went down, and nobody really knows that much about it, but he refuses to even recognize the fact that he went to Cal.
James just said, is that why he introduces Butte Junior College when he does intros? That's crazy. I've never even picked up on that before. That's very interesting.
Yep.
Oh, hey, Patrick Mahomes, way to start off the week at -2. What the fuck did he just do?
Oh crap! Really?
-0.2. Probably just had a fumble. Oh no, 1 rush, -2 yards. Okay, no big deal.
They just showed it on Red Zone.
So yeah, 5 sporting events in LA today. Since games have started, let's go ahead and jump into our picks. I'm going to remember it this week.
Okay, I'm sorry, but I'm not here to get back in the presidential race. But you never know. I could be swayed. America needs me. Okay, now it's time for the most luxurious, amazing, incredible picks in the world. Mine. I'll take the Ravens to top the Bengals, even though that doesn't make sense because cats eat birds.
Still my favorite part of this.
The Seahawks, but who really cares? My upset pick is the Eagles to beat the Giants, and my wild card is the Bills to sink the Dolphins.
All right, boys, you heard his picks. Now it's your turn. Greg B, who you got?
It's my hope that one of these weeks, one of those games is actually one of the games. That'll be fantastic when that actually happens. So the week started off with Thursday night football. The Texans just walloped the Dolphins. I took the Dolphins to win that game.
I had Houston.
And then it started off this morning in London, 24-18. Eagles beat the Jaguars. This was literally a must-win for both teams. Like, any team that gets to 5 losses right now is pretty much looking at the outside of the playoffs.
Oh,
so
absolutely.
It was a big win for Philly to get that, bring them up to 5-4.
Oh,
No, 4-4. What was that?
Browns just had a big pass play. I thought he scored, but he didn't.
All right, so games. Seahawks are at the Lions.
Who'd you have in the Philly-Jacksonville game?
I had Philly.
Okay, I did too. Seahawks-Lions. I have the Sea Pigeons.
I do as well. That game is 0-0. I have the Bengals beating the Bucks.
Me too.
That game's 0-0. I have the Redskins over New York.
Yep.
That game's 0-0. I have the Jets. I'm taking the Jets in an upset over the Bears this week at home.
I'm not. I get the Bears. Now, Khalil Mack's not playing today, so
I did not even know that.
Yeah, Khalil Mack's not playing. He's inactive today, so that's going to be that's.
We'll know if that defense goes by Khalil Mack or not for sure.
Right? Exactly.
I have the Panthers over the Ravens.
I do too.
Because cats eat birds. I have the Steelers. I have the Steelers over the Browns in a revenge game.
Yeah, I do too.
I have the Chiefs over the Broncos.
Yep.
Colts over the Raiders.
Ooh, I'm going upset here. I think that.
Is it really an upset when it's a 1-win team versus a 2-win team?
Absolutely, because it's the Raiders. I think the Raiders are gonna. I think that Jordy Nelson's gonna have a huge day.
I wish I would have picked him up. That would have been great.
Right,
Instead, I picked up Chris Hogan. TJ, did you know he played lacrosse?
I dropped Chris Hogan in the league this week.
I just picked him up in ours because I had for Cup.
So I have the Raiders winning that game.
All right, I have the Rams over the Pack.
Yep.
I have the Niners over the Cardinals.
As a great, fantastic 49ers fan, I have the Cardinals winning.
I have the Saints over the Vikings in Minnesota.
Yep.
And I have the Patriots over the Bills. What a shitty Monday Night Football game.
I know. I mean, it would have been almost as shitty as last week's Sunday night game before they flexed it.
And speaking of shitty games, how about next Thursday's game is the Niners hosting the Raiders.
Now, are they going to color rush this game or? Because you don't have to on Thursday nights. I wonder if they'll color rush it, which would mean the Raiders could be in all black and the Niners could be in all white. That actually could be.
The Niners are not wearing their throwbacks, the all white throwbacks. I wonder though if they'll roll out the blacks, if they'll roll the all blacks.
I think they got rid of those. I don't think they're wearing those at all.
It'd be great if the Niners wore the all blacks and the Raiders came in and wore their all white color rushes.
You know, I saw a website. I'll have to go look at it. Maybe we'll post it later on. There's a website that you can go to that shows what uniforms they're wearing every game.
Yeah, I saw that. I have a feeling that they're going to wear the standard jerseys.
Is that game in Oakland or is that it?
In San Francisco or if Barnbaum was on in Santa Clara.
Yeah.
Over under on fights in the stands, bathroom, food lines for that game.
Oh, 4.
Only 4? That's in each line, right? So
Yeah,
16.
yeah.
Okay. All right. So there's that. Anything else we want to cover? I mean, it's football time, right?
Yeah, Red Zone's been on for 10 minutes, so that's why I keep looking up. No, I don't think so. I think that pretty much covers it.
I think that does cover it. So I'm glad this worked out. The new features of this shindig are working well for us.
I like that. How do you guys like this new setup? Or would you rather have TJ on and not me?
No,
I don't want to. I just opened up a can of worms with that now, didn't I?
Yeah, you did. Shit, that'd be like having James fly down every week. So on that note, Thursday night football should be it'll be one of two things. It's either going to be an amazing show of football because the Niners and Raiders are both ball out, and it'll just be crazy. Because for some reason, CJ Beathard seems to play well in big games. I think he kind of likes that. He likes that spotlight. And it's the Raiders. I mean, it's a battle of the Bay. It's the last one, so it should hopefully turns out to be a good game. So we'll see how it goes. Let's see. For less of you is better. The only thing we didn't do is run your commercial. You got anything going on home wise?
A couple in escrow, waiting for some people to get off the fence. Hopefully, some people make that decision here pretty soon and get going on things. And then there's you.
And then there's me. Hopefully, that'll be a three home deal if we get that
right.
ball.
So if you're thinking about buying or selling, or if you know anybody buying or selling, or if you know somebody that's moving out of town and they don't have a realtor where they're moving, have them give me a call because I can definitely help them out finding somebody in a different area. I just found a friend of mine. Got a couple of those going on, or one just closed one of a family that moved to San Antonio. And James is actually helping me out with a buddy whose parents live up in Bellingham. So
I'll say if you need someone in Bellingham, you can give
me a call. I give
Greg
James
a call.
In
contact with James, and we'll make.
Then
it
we all benefit. So.
Except for me, I don't benefit.
You get to be around me though.
Again, I don't benefit. I'll benefit once you start paying for Be Live, and I don't have to keep paying for it.
Oh, ouch!
I'm just kidding. Kind of.
Not really.
But on that note, this was episode 259. Greg Veroza on location. Myself here in the Palacious, as you like to say, Sports Talk 916 Studios for episode 259. Remember, you can find us on Facebook Live, which is where we are now. You can grab it on Instagram. If you have the Podbean app for some reason, you can grab it there. And you can grab it on Spotify Podcast. So look for Sports Talk.
Are we on Instagram? Do you post this to Instagram?
Did I say Instagram?
Yeah.
I meant to say Podbean. I don't know. I meant to say iTunes, not Instagram. So iTunes, Facebook Live, Podbean, and Spotify. And we may still be on Google Play. I'm not sure. I don't have that anymore. So we'll have to double check that. But for Greg Veroza, I'm Greg Bowl. On behalf of Tony Pacheco and Albert Chavez, we say thank you, and we will see you guys next week.
Good night, Larry.
There's always a weird delay now when we close. I got to start doing this close a lot sooner. Here we go. Hold on. I can work this in. Could be our new closing music.